2NURFM News for our sponsor Guardian Jewellery, Toronto Town Square and the Esplanade, Warners Bay.
It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Thandi Chindove with 2NURFM Hunter News. Flooding has closed the New England Highway in East Maitland at Melbourne Street. Diversions are in place for anyone travelling through the area, and drivers are reminded to be careful and avoid driving on flooded roads. Meanwhile, a gas leak has been identified at Newcastle Foreshore. Wharf Road has been closed from Watt Street to Argyle Street as a precaution and will remain closed until further notice. Following the week's severe weather, hunter communities are being reminded to take the proper precautions as cleanup efforts get underway. Surfaces contacted by floodwaters should be thoroughly cleaned with hot soapy water and disinfected with chlorine bleach solution or another disinfectant. Hunter New England public health physician Dr. Tony Merritt says more information can be found on the New South Wales Health website.
There's a whole series of really useful fact sheets on the New South Wales Health website. If people go to the very front page of New South Wales Health under Health Alerts there's a storms and flood section which links through to details on a whole lot of things, cleaning up the kitchen, pools, veggie gardens, septic tanks, bores and so forth.
Councils across the Hunter are doing what they can as repair and recovery efforts continue. Free tipping for storm waste at Summerhill begins tomorrow until the 10th of May for Newcastle residents. Maitland residents can dispose of vegetation debris and storm-damaged goods, including furniture and soiled food, at the Mount Vincent Waste Management Facility at no cost. A free green waste drop-off at Terralba Worm Farm will be available to Lake Macquarie residents from this Sunday until the 10th of May, and Singleton residents can dispose of green waste and storm-damaged goods at the Singleton Waste Depot for a reduced fee for the next 30 days. Cessnock City Council has set up a disaster welfare information centre for residents experiencing hardship in the wake of the storms which rocked the Hunter this week. The service aims to provide information for those with questions about financial assistance or who may not have had insurance and are unsure of what to do. It works closely with local providers, the Red Cross and Samaritans, and is able to do home visits for those unable to travel. The Electrical Trades Union has released reports claiming poor decisions by management, coupled with recent job cuts, have resulted in lengthy delays in the restoration of power in Sydney, the Central Coast and the Hunter. According to the ETU, some crews responding to emergencies such as live wires were told to leave the jobs after just 10 hours of work, potentially putting the public at risk until replacement crews were called in. ETU Secretary Steve Butler says further job cuts will only worsen future emergency responses.
Well, they're talking about a further 2,400 jobs out of Ausgrid, which is about 40% of the present workforce. If they cut that amount, these types of situations, these types of storm events will mean people will be without power for weeks.
The Anzac Memorial Walk will be officially opened this evening on the eve of centenary services tomorrow morning. The walk features nearly 4,000 family names of 11,000 known Hunter Valley men and women who served during World War I. Lord Mayor Nuatali Nelms says the names in particular will strike a chord with the people of the Hunter.
It features thousands of names of all the people from the Hunter that served for their country. My children's great-great-grandfather, Reginald Arthur Nelms, served in the Australian Imperial Forces in Gallipoli. For my family, who are local, that is a really special moment for them, and I know that they're all looking forward to going up and seeing his name engraved.
In spite of the weather which has ravaged the Hunter, Anzac services will proceed as usual tomorrow morning, with a large turnout expected on the 100th year anniversary. The morning at Newcastle will start with the dawn service at Nobby's Beach, followed by a march at the corner of Perkins Street and Hunter Street Mall, and United Commemoration service at 10 a.m. in Civic Park. President of the Newcastle RSL sub-branch, Ken Fail, says those rising early should make sure to bring a jumper.
If they're coming up to Nobby's, the weather forecast is fine, but just for cold weather because the wind is quite cold. I've just come from up there. It's a beautiful looking scene. It's all clear. We're starting to set up now, but that wind can be a bit bitter, so put a jumper on. You can always peel it off later.
In finance, the All Ords is up 77 points at 58.79, and $1 Australian is buying 77.75 US cents.
Sport for our sponsor, NewcastleCheapestCars.com.au.
The Newcastle Knights are hoping to bounce back from 3 consecutive losses when they take on the Cowboys tomorrow afternoon at Hunter Stadium. After a narrow victory in round 2, the Red and Blue are preparing for a tough game with uncertainty surrounding forward Beau Scott's potential return from injury. Coach Rick Stone says it will be a big game for both sides.
It's a tough game, footy, and we've got to play tough every week and compete hard. We understand Cowboys have been in great form. Their last couple of weeks have been terrific. They've taken some decent scalps and playing a real good brand of footy, and they've got a bit of confidence going for them as well.
It seems the Newcastle Jets' Zenon Caravella won't be taking the field tonight in the squad's last round clash against Brisbane Roar at Suncorp Stadium. Last week it was confirmed the midfielder would not be re-signing with the Jets, and an unchanged side this week sees an early end to his time with the club. And in basketball, tomorrow night's local derby between the Maitland Mustangs and Newcastle Hunters for the Kibble Malin Cup looks to be in doubt due to storm-related water damage at the scheduled stadium. 2NURFM News Time is coming up to 2:06.